Hello guys, Jacob here, and this is Into the Vault, a series where I show old videos that I have lying around and provide a bit of a backstory about me as an animator and artist. In today's episode, I'll be talking about the reason why I started this series, and that's an animation that I made known as Ghost Patrol. This animation was my first major project, and if we're talking about the amount of time it took to make as well as the work required, it's also my biggest to date. It was also something that went through a lot of changes, and because of this there is a lot of footage and other stuff that I have to show you all today. Before I get into the actual talk about the animation itself, I'd like to give some context about why I made it and I guess why it's important to me as well. Ghost Patrol was the major project that I had done for my HSC multimedia assessment back at high school. This major project made up 60% of my assessment marks and comprised of the animation itself, as well as a portfolio which contained research, planning and evaluations that I had done for the project. In fact, the footage that I am currently showing, or I'm about to show, is a speed art of a character model I intended to use for the animation, but ended up not using because of style changes and stuff like that. Instead of writing down like paragraphs and paragraphs of process stuff, I often like to record what I was doing at the time and visually represent what I did through videos. In a nutshell, Ghost Patrol was my first real chance to finally make an animation, which is something that I wanted to do since I started watching other animators like Jaltoid. His influence on this project is actually something that's quite interesting and I guess kinda bad as well. To summarize everything, at the time of making Ghost Patrol, I wasn't really good at storyboarding or drawing out scenes, so it's something I would often do to save time, and because I had no idea what I was doing, is that I would often take reference from Jaltoid's animations and remake the scenes from their works in my own. So in a way, I guess I was a Jaltoid ripoff or a copy, but this project was made like a year ago, so please don't kill me about it or anything. As for the plot of Ghost Patrol, it's brief about a boy turning into a ghost and this kid who's obsessed with the supernatural, helping him realize this and therefore turn him back into a human as well. I know it's a pretty crappy plot and it wasn't really portrayed well in the actual animation, but at the time I was into stuff like Gravity Falls and I guess I wanted to express this by doing something based on the supernatural. While I had ultimately stuck with animation, Ghost Patrol was a project that went through numerous changes during its creation. One of the major changes that I had done was going from live action and animation combined to just animation alone, because at the time I also had experience with cinematography and actually thought that live action would be easier to do than animation. However, the opposite ended up happening and there were many problems that I found with live action filming, like getting the right camera settings, actors forgetting their lines, and managing the sound, because we used the boom mic to record our sound and it was quite hard and annoying to hold up that big microphone stick thing. I guess I really underestimated the difficulty of live action and a lot of my footage didn't turn out well, so I just stuck with animation, where I'd have more control over the project and get more done because I was drawing everything from home. Another difficulty that I faced was that there were only certain times of the week where we were able to stay back to film, and you also had to consider that other people needed to film and that your actors had commitments as well, because we're all doing all of this major project making stuff during our HC and we had to study for our other subjects as well. On top of that, the ghost costume that I made for the project was really uncomfortable to wear and it looked really weird, so I guess the live action stuff wouldn't work as well because of that. That said, I believe now would be a good time to show you some early live action footage with the ghost costume, as well as some initial animations that I had done to complement it. What you're about to see is a scene where the main character wakes up to find out that he has become a ghost, and has flashbacks that are represented by animation. In the final project, scenes like this had undergone massive changes, but I reckon the footage is still worth seeing, so here it is. Another thing that changed a lot for Ghost Patrol was its script, and while I expected to revise some lines here and there, I pretty much rewrote the script about 2 to 3 times in order to make the plot more logical and accommodate for the fact that I switched my medium of choice for the project to just animation alone, so this meant simplifying scenes and making it so that I was able to draw everything out. Even so, the story still ended up being too complicated and rushed, so I kinda flopped in the storyline department as well. I remember at JN15, which was our multimedia presentation, my film was the longest, but a lot of people said that it felt really rushed because I needed to explain a lot of things regarding the plot, and I kind of breezed through scenes as well, so everything was like really muddled and rushed and stuff. An example of a notable change in the script is that the original actually had the characters of Justin and Heath actually try and hunt down the ghost together, while the final script was made it so that only Justin saw the ghost, while Heath was more there to act like a bogan and provide some comedic relief. The following videos are scenes where Justin and Heath talk about the ghost. The first is a live action scene based on the original script where they actually hunt down the ghost together, while the second is an animated scene which appeared in the final project, and that's more about Justin trying to tell Heath that there's a ghost and Heath straight up refusing that there is.
Oh, so that's what you mean by questionable fashion. But I don't see what's with the tinny.
Well, it's just in case the ghost happens to have ESP and decides to use its psychic powers against us.
Really?
Yeah, well, we'll see who's laughing when the ghost fries their brains. Anyways, I don't see why you decided to do this with me. I figured you didn't believe in ghosts. Hey!
Oi! What do you want?
Well, I might need your help with something. There's a ghost in our school.
What? You kidding me, mate?
This bookmark, it was John's, and it started glowing. Next thing you know, the ghost appears before me. The fact is, he wasn't missing. He was dead all along.
Really? After that secret society stuff you tried proving before, I think you've just gone bonkers.
Thinking there's a cult running the school doesn't make you crazy.
It does, Justin. But listen, I've been your mate for ages, but can you stop being a for 1 second and buying into this monster crap?
Never. John needs our help, whether you believe me or not.
Well, you know what? Go get your head checked.
Finally, I would like to talk about the little commercials that I had made as an interlude of sorts between the scenes of the animation. Collectively, these advertisements were known as the daily life or the multimedia student, and they conveyed just that. That is, my experiences with making the project and trying out new equipment. Anyway, the reason why I done these ads is something that alludes to J15, which is something I may talk about in another time. In short, our multimedia teacher got Adobe and Canon to sponsor our presentation night at the time, and I thought that it would be a good idea to reference these companies in our major project. For me, this meant to endorse brands like Adobe and Wacom in the commercials, which I guess were also a way for me to convey my production processes to the people liking my work. There are many more things that I could talk about, but I believe I spent too much time rambling on about the major differences between the final Ghost Patrol and the original. Honestly, I could talk about the folio as well, but I think it would be too boring for me to talk about 60 or so pages that I've written. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Into the Vault, and especially the old footage that I had to show you. And with that, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and bye for now.